Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Sun in Gemini collective tarot reading. This reading is for all signs and all placements. You don't have to have your Sun in Gemini to listen to this reading. I'm Maritza, by the way. Welcome to my channel. Before I begin with the tarot reading, disclaimers are in the description box below. And I want to give some notes about the Sun in Gemini. So some things to pay attention to are when the Sun is in Gemini is communication, especially if you feel like a really strong urge to talk or write or learn, especially with other people or a certain community. Like, I'm thinking about writers groups, but it could be anything really. Our curiosity and learning will be at a peak because Gemini fosters this desire for knowledge and an exploration of new ideas and and perspectives. We're also going to be looking to be more adaptable and flexible in things. Because Gemini in general embraces variety, and with variety comes new experiences and new situations that we have to sort of adjust to. Another thing is having the energy to socialize. This isn't going to be the same for everybody, but the Sun in Gemini kind of gives social interactions a boost, and you may be wanting to engage in conversations, or like you'll want to give your opinions about things more frequently. Or you might just even go out where there's a lot of socializing happening, like at a bar or something, during a game, something like that. There's also a tendency to multitask. Because I guess Gemini energy thrives on doing a ton of things at once, like getting their to-do list done all at once so that they have more time to do stuff that they actually enjoy. And this is going to be an influence for everyone, not just Geminis. But Geminis have a natural tendency to do that. And then there is like the need for mental stimulation. And this is, I feel like it's a constant need. I'm a Gemini, so I always like when my brain is engaged. But the sun in Gemini is going to be a time where your mind will be really active with new ideas, or just ideas in general. They don't necessarily have to be new. But it's a good time for brainstorming and creative thinking and finding different sorts of solutions to problems. Some other things of note. Jupiter has been in Gemini since May 25th of 2024, and it will stay there until June 9th of 2025. And what that means as an influence is that there's going to be, success and prosperity in areas relating to Gemini's themes, like communication and connecting and learning. So you'll have success if you're doing research and research, it doesn't have to be relating to school or, your job. It could also be relating to research about yourself, or, any kind of research, any kind of learning where you are really taking in the information and planning to do something with that information. The planet Pluto, I guess it's not a planet anymore, the celestial body, let's call it that, Pluto will be, or is in retrograde during this time. And it's a moment, it's a time where there's deep self-reflection, and because the sun is also in Gemini, the influence is adapting to these personal revelations. So when you discover things about yourself, when you discover new information about yourself, you're going to what you want to do is try to adapt to these new personal things that you've discovered about yourself. I think I just repeated myself, and I'm sorry. Coming up on May 24th, Saturn enters Aries. And what that's going to mean is that there's going to be a lot more thoughtful action and taking responsibility and approaching whatever challenges come your way with a more active participation. And what this could mean for the sun in Gemini is that that sort of pressure is reduced or maybe even released, because Geminis are, or rather the sun in Gemini has a tendency to influence the multitasking, so you get your responsibilities out of the way a bit quicker. Which means whatever you struggle with, will be reduced at the very least. Oh gosh, and then I wrote something about Mars and Mercury square, but I have no idea what that means. And I'm still struggling. Like, I don't know. So, I'm new to astrology, at least this deep into astrology. And I don't know what planets being square means. So I'm not gonna. Anywho, some other things to consider is to challenge your assumptions, and take in new ways of thinking and new perspectives about the world and yourself even. This could also be a good time to seek support from your social network or a close-knit community, or siblings if you have them. And be open to accepting unexpected messages from the universe, where they kind of give you a moment or realization that is kind of like, oh, I've never thought about that before, or that's, a powerful realization. And they'll come through casual conversations. And then, of course, we should learn to balance mental stimulation with relaxation, because it can, having too much mental stimulation can be tiring. The other thing I want to point out is be cautious of spreading yourself too thin, especially with over scheduling yourself for social events, especially if you're the type of person who is more introverted. That is all the notes for the sun entering Gemini. I'll have these notes written on my website. So you can read what I have. Okay, now we will go into the reading. What messages do you have for the collective? Whoops. What messages do you have for the collective? We have the 8 of Swords. We have, as a cross challenge, we have the 9 of Pentacles. As a foundation, we have the Ace of Wands. Okay. So when I see the 8 of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles, it makes me think that you're trying your best to make something good out of a not ideal situation. It's not. It's also not necessarily a bad situation, but it's not ideal. It's not what is wanted, really. But you're trying to make the best of it. And with the Foundation as the Ace of Wands, it makes me think that you got into this situation because you were trying something new that you were really excited about. But it didn't turn out to be what you were hoping. But still, I mean, I'm seeing the Nine of Pentacles, and it's like, it's still a good situation, but it's, not what you were expecting. As the distant past, we have the Four of Pentacles. And maybe not even the distant past, it could even be the very recent past, where you're kind of realizing that you're holding on to the ideal of what you believed the situation would turn out to become. But I feel like the Four of Pentacles is saying that it's time, and the Eight of Swords is saying that it's time to let go of the ideal and accept reality for what it is. Yeah. Then we have the Crown. So what is the foremost thought? And we have the World card. The immediate thing I'm thinking when I see the World card in that spot in the Celtic cross is that you're trying to reach the end of the situation and have it be an organic ending and not have to abruptly stop. You want to, I think what is being said is that you personally want to finish what you started. And it doesn't necessarily have to, you don't necessarily have to finish it right away or immediately, but it is something that you want to reach the conclusion of because it's not the ideal thing that you were hoping it to be. Then we have the Two of Pentacles in the near future. So, in regards to the situation that you're in right now, it's going to be a struggle to reach the end point. Simply because of the fact that it's not what you expected, and so unexpected things keep showing up. And so it's sort of a struggle to get through those unexpected things, and sometimes the end point of the situation feels like it's getting further and further away. But it is within reach. You just have to keep going for a little bit longer. Then we have the Nine of Cups reversed. The Nine of Cups reversed is your inner influence. And I'm seeing the nine cups turned upside down, and it kind of makes me think like you're just so done with this, whatever the situation is, and you don't want to be in it anymore. But you can't just walk away from it. As the Eight of Swords says, this is not a situation that you can just abandon. And the Nine of Pentacles says you have to see it through, or like that is your desire. You want to finish what you started. Then we have, as an outer influence, we have the the Seven of Wands. It's possible that other people, or maybe you were receiving signs from an outside source, you were receiving signs and messages from an outside source that this situation was not going to be ideal, or it was not going to be what you were expecting. But you went ahead with it anyway because you were hopeful. And so now the messages from this outside source, be it messages from other people or messages from the universe itself, the message that you're receiving is, see, I told you. Now you're struggling and you're dealing with things that you could have seen coming a mile away, but you were so blinded by what you were expecting or hoping for that you weren't listening to the signs that this wasn't the right time to pursue whatever it is. Your hopes and fears, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so your hope is that, of course, you'll be successful at this, in this situation. But your fear is that once you get what you are striving for, you'll get bored with it. And it's not going to be as stimulating as you were expecting it to be. The question that keeps coming up is, when I look at the Queen of Pentacles, is what will you do next? What will you do after you either reach the end point of whatever or actually do get what you want from the situation. And then as the outcome card, we have the Hierophant, which makes me think of I'm not sure how to put it into words actually. So it makes me think of you're receiving a message from the source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, spirit. But it's getting muddled through earthly interpretation. So the message isn't clear. But you do have a connection to the source. But because you are being blinded by what you were hoping the situation would be, or the idealism of it, it's not being received clearly. It's like the visual that I'm thinking of is like you're watching a television that is really old, and so the signal isn't well received, and there's like a lot of that gray fuzzy visual stuff. And it's hard to hear too. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. In terms of astrology, we have Saturn with the World card. And let's see, Saturn, there's something going on with Saturn in Gemini season. Oh, on May 24th, Saturn enters Aries, and that's when we want to focus on taking action, taking responsibility, and approaching our struggles and challenges with courage, but this could mean that pressure is also released because you're actually doing something about it. We also have Earth signs with the Queen of Pentacles. So that's Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. So any of those seasons could be important to pay special attention to, or certain people with those signs may be important or provide guidance. And then we have another earth sign, Taurus specifically, with the Hierophant. So we just came out of Taurus season. So this could all have been a situation that happened in Taurus season, and now it's trickling into Gemini season. And Gemini season is where you'll have to take action and take responsibility for going into the situation in the first place. And I think that's it with the astrology. Okay. Well, if you liked this reading or found it helpful in some way, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, let me know that you exist, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.